Welcome to CUWFalcons.com mid-season softball report. We're joined today by the Falcons head coach Steve Crook and first baseman Cara Landherr. Coach, we'll begin with you. The team's 11-11. Started off the season with an incredibly difficult non-conference schedule. Went 6-8 during that stretch. 5-3 since conference play has begun. How would you assess the team so far?
Well, Brian, I think we've learned a lot about ourselves. The schedule was definitely a challenge early, but a good challenge. Matter of fact, Cara and I had a conversation early in the season about that, talking about it's probably good for us at this point in the career of our team and where we're at programmatically with a lot of upperclassmen to be able to play those teams. And I'm not going to lie, I think we all feel like we wish we had a few more wins at this point, but we definitely have improved, and we're seeing some good softball coming. The maturity of our team is definitely something that's shined through. Doesn't matter what happens in a game, the next game we bounce back, and we bounce back well. I think we know who we are, and we're a mentally tough team, and I think that'll show the rest of the way through, in part due to some of these tough games.
All right, and Cara, the offense seems to have hit its stride. 38 runs in the last 3 games. The middle lineup with you, Steph, Mariah, Abby, it seems like anybody can strike at one point. You guys had 4 home runs in a doubleheader the other day. Just talk about the lineup. How nice it is to have that where if one person doesn't come up, you know the people behind you are going to step up and get that big hit.
But our lineup has a lot of flexibility with whoever's on that day is on. I feel like we don't have a weak point, and we all bring our game every day, so it just depends whose hit falls, and it makes it a lot easier to push the runs across the plate when everybody can hit that way.
And now your recent individual success since conference play has begun. You're on an 8-game hitting streak. You've drove in 12 runs. What's been your approach at the plate, and how have you been able to come up with those big hits?
Just to get a hit. That's honestly all I think about when I go up to the plate. All I want to do is put that ball in play, especially when there's runners in scoring position.
Alrighty, and Coach, let's talk a little bit about the pitching. Since the start of the year, it's been Jamie Shue and Melissa Perkins. You've had 2 games. Every day you've gone out. One starts one starts the other. What have you seen from them in the circle that you've liked, and where could they improve upon?
I think that one of the great things about our program is that we have 2 pitchers, and they both have the ability to really give us strong performances. And there are days that some pitchers, or a pitcher doesn't have their great stuff. Both of our girls have the ability, both of our players have the ability to kind of overcome that and come back through. On days when they have their good stuff, I mean, you could see Jamie Shue's performance the other day with the no-hitter. She's just phenomenal, and there's just really no one out there when she's at that level that can really, they can't compete with that, or I guess we feel really good about her being in the circle. And in terms of a 1-2 punch, I do feel like that's going to be a strength of ours as the season goes. And they're continuing to develop. Looking at the weather, there's no question that that's going to be an advantage for us. The pitching-catching relationship has developed. We have a new catcher, we have a new pitcher, so all 3 of them are really finding what they can do together, and that chemistry is improving as we go.
Now you mentioned that weather. Cara, let's go to you first. From a player's perspective, you really never know when you're going to play with this Wisconsin weather. Monday's a perfect example. You probably woke up, saw outside, didn't think you were going to play. Game gets moved here 3 hours in advance. How does that affect the routine of the players? What's the mindset? How does that affect you guys?
I mean, it's a struggle, kind of. But we got a text early in the day saying that the game might be here, stay ready, and just relay that to the team and let them know that anything can happen. And I think we all do a good job of going with the flow and staying ready to play until the last minute.
And Coach, from a coach's perspective, obviously you got to be enjoying the multiple home games, but at the same time you get stretches like these next 4 days where a 30-year conference season is going to be played in the next 4 days. How does a coach handle that, this weather?
Every coach, I think, preaches the same thing. They're all the weather that we face. There really should be nothing that sets us back. That's got to be an attitude, and that's the attitude of a winner. It's also the benefit of having a strong group of upperclassmen. I look at our group of juniors and seniors, and really even our sophomores. I think they're unflappable. They walk out to the field, we take care of some issues, they go with the flow, and then when we get out there, we've been game ready. And I think that's the attitude that will carry over. And quite honestly, when you find at the end of the year, when you get into tournament play, that's the attitude you need to have, because you don't know when your next game is going to be. It might be 2 or 3 hours, it might be the next day, it depends on who wins, who loses. And teams that are really good at that, the mentally tough teams, are the ones that wind up in contention at the end of the year. And I would believe we have that ability to be there. So these tests will need to pass. The 4 doubleheaders in a row, we just need to use our conditioning that they worked very hard on for the last 7-8 months, and remain mentally tough, and we'll be okay.
All right, Cara, let's focus on the rest of the season. What are some of the team goals? What are you guys looking to accomplish as the season progresses?
Coming out hard and taking both games right away. Try not to come out too flat, or because we've had a trend lately of either taking the first one or taking the second one, and we just got to push through that and take them both. And I think we're getting there. We have the right attitude. We have had the right attitude all season, and I think all the girls are ready to just push through it all and take them.
Alrighty, well, fans, you can continue to follow CUWFalcons.com all throughout the season on updates on the softball team. As we mentioned, they'll play 8 games over the next 4 days, doubleheaders in all of them. It's a third of their conference season. Coach, Cara, thanks for joining us today.